Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 to show you a fun new project. So last Thursday I was not live, and this Thursday I will not be live either. I do back-to-back retreat weekends, and last weekend was my first, and this weekend is my second. So I try not to schedule too much and just craft with all of my friends. So I will not be live on Thursday, but I will see you guys again next Tuesday for sure. So while we were at the retreat, I had a little bit of spare time and I was like, what should I work on? And then I started scrolling through my phone and saw some screenshots that I took of some other things that other demonstrators have made. And I was like, oh, I'm going to make that one and I'm going to make this one. And I could not stop. So I should have brought the second one that I made because it is so stinking cute as well. But maybe I'll make that next Tuesday for our live. So maybe I'll keep it a secret. If you were here last week and you totally know what I'm talking about, but I'll keep it a secret for now. But the one that I was able to create, we are going to do on today's live. And I am so excited to show you guys. I don't work with watercolor paper very often, so I kind of really stepped out of my comfort zone and I loved the way it turned out. Good evening, Heather. Welcome. So if you're logging on, say hi so I know you're here. Hopefully you guys had a good day. I started prepping the giftables class today. So I will have hopefully some of it ready for this weekend. So if anybody wants to do it while they're at the retreat this weekend. And then I think the class is scheduled for the 21st. So I have been crazy busy all day long. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if anybody else is like this, but if I eat lunch, I am literally starving for dinner. I cannot wait until 6 o'clock till we eat dinner. And Christina and I ordered Jimmy John's for lunch today, and I literally could eat my left arm at like 4 o'clock. So I just need to not eat until I eat dinner because it totally messed my entire day up. I don't know where I was going with that, but anyways, that was my day. Anyway, good evening, Tammy. How are you? It's my Aunt Tammy from Pennsylvania. Okay, let's point you over and we are going to get started. I'm going to make sure we're live on Facebook and we should be. Let's see if it's going to play nice with me today. There it is. Okay, perfect. So right now, until the end of October, they are doing the starter kit for 35% off or 35% in more product. So I did put my Join Now link in the description before I went live. If anybody has any questions about it, please feel free to reach out. You can pretty much reach me 24/7. So there is that. Let's bring in the product we're going to be using before I show you guys the card. So I brought in the circle sayings, and I am using the little cupcake here at the bottom. I know I've done a couple classes and stuff with this, and it's so fun. And I brought in the Celebrate circle, and this was one of my exclusive class to go kits. So everybody who got it, I know you already have this stamp set. So you'll definitely want to add this one on. And it's free shipping, over $75. So it's a win-win. And I'm using this guy right here. So let me push those to the side and bring in the card. This is the fun card we're doing. It is using the watercolor paper, which is something that I do not use very often. I'm actually surprised I had some in the craft room to be able to make this. Good evening, Teresa. Okay, so we're going to start with the little chef guy and the cupcake, and then I'm going to show you how to do the paper. Okay, so I have a piece of scratch basic white, and I'm going to bring in my mementos, and I like to ink it up upside down when it's a larger image. So I'm going to ink this up really good so it's nice and dark. And I am just going to go ahead and stamp him. Perfect. And while I have the ink out, I'm going to stamp the cupcake. There we go. So now we're just going to do a smidgen of coloring. So I brought in, let's see, this one is Crumb Cake dark pecan pie, dark petal pink, dark berry burst, and dark parakeet party. So these are the 5 colors that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to start with the dark petal pink, and I want to color in his hands, his face, and I will try to talk while I color, but sometimes it's a little challenging for me. There's his face, and then I'm going to come down here and do his other hands. So there we go. Hello, Pam and Valerie, welcome. So the next one I'm going to do is the dark berry burst, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to just do his belt. And I did not create these cards. I did change them up a smidgen from what I saw online. But whoever created it was pretty spectacular. And then I'm going to bring in the parakeet party, and I'm going to do his apron. These cards were so fun. I think I made like 12 of them. I know. When I say I do things in assembly line, I really am not lying. I made so many of these and I really want to make more. They are so fun. Okay, so that's it for the little chef guy. So now I'm going to come in and do the cupcake. So I'm taking the same parakeet party and I'm going to color the bottom of the cupcake, or I don't know if it's the bottom of the cupcake. What's that paper called that you put in a cupcake liner? Cupcake liner? That's what we'll call it. So I'm going to color the cupcake liner in Parakeet Party. And then, oh, I always forget about these little doodads right in the corner. There we go. Then I'm going to take the Berry Burst, and I'm actually going to lean down. Hopefully my head's not in the camera. And I'm going to take the tip of my pen very, very gently. You do not want to put too much pressure because you're going to bend your point of your pen. So I am just putting little tiny dots, spots, kind of whatever you want to call them, on here, just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me pull it up a little bit. So I just put itty bitty little dots on the bottom. I'm going to take my dark pecan pie. It's actually easier for me to color if I lean over. So I'm going to lean over for the rest of this. When you're working at your craft station, you are kind of hunched over your desk, not standing up, looking down on it. So kind of makes sense. So now I'm going to take the crumb cake, and my crumb cake is almost dried out. So I am going a little bit harder and my tip is bent a little bit. So that's what happens once they kind of die. I'm going to take my crumb cake again, and I just want to accent all of these little pieces. So there we go. That is all the coloring we're going to be doing. So it wasn't super tragic. Good evening, Darlene. Welcome. So now I'm going to take my paper snips. Unfortunately, there isn't a die for these, but the fussy cutting really wasn't tragic. And if I did 12 of them, it really did not take long at all, especially the cupcake. The cupcake went really quick. So I'm just going to go around, and I'm moving my paper, not my scissors. So if you leave a little smidgen of your basic white around the edge, you really can't tell if you've made a mistake. There we go. And then this guy, he wasn't tragic either, but he was a little bit more. I'm just going to cut some of this extra off because we don't need it. And it's just easier to work with if you have a smaller piece. Okay. So now I'm going to do the same thing and just start at his feet. And I've done the rest of these already for you. I color them and cut them out. So our next card will be quicker to put together. I just wanted to show you from start to finish on how I did this. And I kind of saved the best for last, is showing you how to create the water backgrounds. Definitely fun. And now that I'm thinking about it, I really hope I put water in my little blending brushes. If not, I might have to run to the bathroom to fill them up. I actually prepped all these early because I knew I was going to have a crazy day. Okay, so now we're around his thumb. So I am going to cut the pizza off, but I am going to come up and trim around that top line. That's going to give me a little lip to attach the cupcake. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if it's necessary, but that's what I did. Okay, the last little bit and we are done fussy cutting. There we go, all done. And he lost the pizza because our cupcake is gonna go on top. Isn't he super stinking cute? Oh, I just love him. Okay, so now let's start with the watercolor. So we do have our watercolor paper. It is in our catalog and it comes 10 sheets to a pack. And you can get 2 of these cards out of 1 sheet. So, yep, I'm gonna have to run to the restroom really quick. And I'm gonna take you with you and talk to you while I fill these up because I apparently did not. And it doesn't take long. I'll show you in a second. One of them might be full enough, but the other one definitely wasn't. So I apologize for that. So here are our water pens. They come in a 3-pack, and we do sell these as well. You do want to have quite a bit of tissue underneath you. I think I just have probably 8 or 10 pieces of paper towels underneath. And I've used these for all 12 that I've done. So it's not like you have to change it out every single time. So here is our watercolor and it is on top of some paper towels. And I brought in 2 clear blocks. And I have the Berry Burst and the Parakeet Party. So I'm going to start with the Parakeet Party. Hopefully you guys can see all this. And I'm going to put, I don't know, 5 or 6 little drops on my block. And then I'm going to do the same for the Parakeet Party. And that probably is too much, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. So first I'm going to take one of my brushes and I am going to saturate this piece of paper. And you really want to get it super wet. Not like drenching, like you're going to have to wring it out, but you want it super duper wet. Let me grab this one. I think this one comes out faster. There we go. So you want it super wet. Let me scoot this up because I think I'm out of the camera a little bit. And it's going to bend a little bit, bow a little bit, just because it's wet. So that looks like it's pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see that. Might need a little bit more up there. So now I'm going to start with the Parakeet Party. So I'm going to pull a bunch onto my brush and start laying it on. And I went super dark. You can go as light or as dark as you want. And you want to do a little bit more than half with the Parakeet Party. So I actually may have had just enough of the little drops of ink that I put down. There we go. And I'm just going to clean off my brush on the bottom, just a smidgen. And we're going to cover it up so it really doesn't even matter. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside so it doesn't leak all over the place. And now I'm going to grab my other brush and I'm going to pick up the Berry Burst. So this one, I'm going to come in and do the bottom. And the water is going to pull it forward and down. So you really don't have to do a whole lot with it. And I want this to go a little bit farther up, so I'm going to cover up some of the parakeet party. And if you think you need a little bit more water, you can squeeze as you're putting this on. Make sure you get all those corners and edges. And there we go. These you can take in your bathroom and run them underwater and it'll clean your bristles out. So that is how you do it. And this is all I was left with. So it really wasn't too much. I am going to go ahead and just wipe this off because knowing my luck, I'm going to put something on top of it and make a bigger mess. So I'm just going to wipe this off. So the bad thing about this is you do have to have patience. I do not have much patience when it comes to something that I really want to show and get it done, but you do need to set this aside to let it dry. It takes maybe 5 or 10 minutes. You can use your heat tool if you want to dry it quicker, but I kind of like how it still is kind of pulling the colors up a little bit. So just set it aside for now. And because of Facebook Lives, this is what you're left with. So we do have to trim it just a hair. Good evening, Lynette. Welcome. So these are 7 inches by 5 inches, I believe. So it's 7 by 5. Yes. So I'm going to cut it in half at 3.5. And then I want this to fit my card. So I need to take 1/4 of an inch off the top or the bottom. I really liked the parakeet party on the top. So I chose to take the 1/4 inch off the bottom. Not that I didn't like the berry burst, but it kind of it didn't speak to me, I guess. And it's 1/4 of an inch. Like really, it's not even tragic. So there are our 2 pieces. So now I'm going to bring in my circle saying stamp, my memento, and my little cupcake. Let me glue him down really quick. I should have glued him down while I was coloring because I just want to show you another little trick. So I'm just going to put a little adhesive on the bottom, put the cupcake on so it's covering it up, and just hold it there for a quick second. It should be good. So now I want to kind of position my Pillsbury guy where I want it, and I want to make sure that my circle or my celebrate saying isn't hanging off or going higher than it needs to be. So I think that looks pretty good there, and that looks good. So I'm going to pull him out, rotate it so the celebrate is right on top, and there you go. Let's do that again. So, and I got a little mark right there, but I knew he was going to cover it up. So nobody will ever know except my friends watching. So I'm going to ink this up. That looks pretty good. Pull him out of the way. There we go. Now all we have to do is pop this guy up. And I thought I brought large dimensionals over here, but apparently I didn't. So we are going to have to use 9,020 small ones. So maybe I won't be putting all of these cards together that I have, but at least we'll put 1 or 2 of them together. That is so weird. I literally went to my table that's in the garage and grabbed them and apparently grabbed the wrong ones. So now he's going to go right in this, the cupcake is going to go in the center. There we go. And now we have our card base. So this is Parakeet Party, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. Fold it in half. I want to bring in the happy birthday from the go-to greetings. I love how big and bold that sentiment is. I'm going to stamp on the inside. I don't always stamp the insides of my cards. I very rarely actually. But I wanted to stamp it before I glue it down in case I make a boo-boo. And I didn't make one, so that is good. So put some adhesive on the back. Put this on the inside. Let that dry for a second. We're going to bring in another piece of our basic white, and it's 4 by 5 1/4. Both of these pieces are 4 by 5 1/4. Oh my gosh, he is so fun. Okay, while that water paper is a little bit thicker, I'm just going to let it sit so it can dry a little bit. And I want to bring in some of our gems. And I just put a couple right here at the edge because we can. Oh, where to go? Because we're allowed to do whatever we want to our cards. Now we can bring this in, glue this down, and voila. Look how absolutely fun this card is. Could you imagine giving this to somebody and the look on their face is just going to be spectacular. Okay, so I do have another one that we can put together. These guys are all done, so I'll just put a couple of them together for you. Thank you, Darlene. It's definitely a little different, something I've never done before. And I really think I want to play with more watercolors. More watercolor paper is definitely fun. A little messy, I won't lie. So make sure you have stuff to wipe your hands off and towels underneath, and you should be good. Let's get these guys out of the way so I can have room to work. There we go. There's that. Oh, well, thank you, Heather. I actually really do think it is as well. I don't know how the videos look, but it is quite impressive. I won't lie. Like whoever designed this, and I wish I would have, I always forget to write everybody's names down, but whoever designed this, they did it a little bit different. Like the watercolor was not this vibrant, but that's where I got the idea. So I can't take credit for this at all. Well, I mean, I guess I can because I made it, but yeah, I was literally just blown away. And it didn't take very long. Like if you do an assembly line like I always do, I did all of my watercoloring, and as Heather can probably attest to it, I was a little impatient waiting for it to dry, but I managed, I worked through. I actually think I went in and cleaned off where we eat, and I took all the dishes in the house and put them in the dishwasher. So it made me do something else instead of sitting there watching paint dry. Because I definitely can be a little impatient when it comes to this stuff. I'm patient on everything else in my life, but not when it comes to making cards. I just want to have my vision put on paper. Okay, make sure I'm gluing this down the right way. So there we go. And you could really do any color you want. You could do purples, you could do more pinks, you could do blues, you could literally possibilities are endless when it comes to using the watercolor and the paper. And yeah, it is just so fun. And you can tell the difference on how I inked the little guy. Like this one didn't get super inked, but you could take your black marker and go over it if you want to, but it really doesn't bother me because I think it shows that he has a little bit of gray hair and I have a lot of gray hair, so he kind of is up my alley. So if he doesn't stamp perfect, just say it's because he has gray hair. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed making that card like crazy. It was so much fun. So, if you haven't tried watercolor paper, we are doing free shipping until tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day. So, it's free shipping on any orders over $75. If you just need the watercolor paper, think about maybe some colors that you want to try with this set and add the reinkers or some of the cardstock that matches it. I won't be live on Tuesday, or today's Tuesday. I won't be live on Thursday, but I will be back next Tuesday, and maybe we will do the other fun card that I was able to create this weekend. So if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. If not, I will see many of you guys this weekend for the retreat, and I will see everybody else on Tuesday for another live. Have a great evening and happy crafting. Chat with you soon. Bye bye.